All right. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, but I think we are good to go on this one. We're going to do kind of a special episode of NPC. We're doing it live. We're doing it with some audience participation. Let's jump into this as we talk about all of these crazy Switch leaks and everything that's happening right now in the world of Nintendo. Welcome to another episode of the Nintendo Powercast. I'm your host, N64 Josh, and it has been a crazy past few days. Christmas had Switch 2 leaks going out. Instead of spending time with friends and family, the internet sleuths were hard at work on Reddit trying to figure out if these photos of the Switch 2 were real or fake. I've been listening and watching all kinds of videos from Sunbro and from Nintendo Prime, and there's been like everybody that is anybody when it comes to talking about Switch 2 rumors has been just digging into this thing like crazy. And there's, you know, with these photos, you can see one on the screen right now if you're watching. Apparently there's AI involved with some of these photos. The pictures of the hardware itself appear to be real. I'm saying grain of salt with everything here. We got a few people already hanging out. I see Jenna's here and Becca. Welcome on in, you guys. This is going to be all about like you guys being, you know, get involved, get your questions out there, get your comments out there. Like we're going to kind of just discuss as we go. The moment I'm just going to kind of, you know, the moment I saw this photo and saw all of the text on the back, this seemed pretty legit to me, honestly. This photo of the dock, albeit cropped, seemed relatively legit. That's going to be pretty hard to reproduce with AI, was my first thought. And then listening to other people talk about it and whatnot, that does seem to be the case. And if you're only listening to the audio version, this is essentially the back of the Switch dock. And it's got all the fine print, all the different like logos and markings and everything. I mean, look on the back of your current Switch dock, you see all of the same stuff. The different regulatory markings that have to be there, it's all there. So this does seem real. I've seen some funny pictures where people have turned it on its side and said, oh, it looks like it's inspired by the Game Boy. You know, some people are just having a good time with this thing overall and just kind of making jokes, which I think is good because I think it's needed. Also, because again, it's just video games. It's fun. Everybody is excited for this next system, and we can't get enough of these leaks and rumors. Now, what we're looking at here is supposedly the front of the dock, and again, these pictures have been scrutinized, and it does seem like this is what the logo is going to end up. It's going to be this, and this looks legit to me. This, if Nintendo's going to take this route of calling it the Switch 2, this very much makes it clear that it is not the OG Switch. That is a fairly large 2 that makes it very clear that this is the next iteration of the system. And so I'm all for it. Like calling it, you know, Super Switch or anything like that. Anybody outside of like essentially the normies that are going to be buying this for, you know, grandkids or kids that don't really, that we don't want anybody confused. Nintendo does not need another Wii U situation where nobody knew what was out. Like what is this device? Is this a brand new console or is this an add-on? This is going to make it abundantly clear. Yeah, it's taking more of the, you know, the iPhone route, the PlayStation route, but there's not a lot of confusion there. When you tell somebody I have the iPhone 16 or the iPhone 14, they know which model you have. It's very, very obvious. So I can see that being the case. this, I'm looking at my OLED dock right here. It's you can barely see, especially in like low lighting, you can barely see the logo and whatnot. This to me seems very legit, and we're gonna get into some other photos too that are gonna show like that have been like, again, just scrutinized and gone over. There is AI involved. There's one particular picture that really, really just drives me crazy, and you guys will see it here shortly. It's this one right here. Okay, now I'm going to see if anybody in chat picks out what would maybe be very irritating about this. you guys can let me know what what you see in this photo that may not sit well with you. We'll talk about some of the just the console itself. This does showcase the U-shaped kickstand, which we've been seeing all over the place. There is, I believe it's either a 13 or a 16 pin connector in the center there. The Nintendo logo, and then that plus sign, that has been something that's been discussed a bunch. But we're going to look at a photo in a little bit that kind of compares and contrasts what all the 3D printed Joy-Con that people have been seeing, and how it will line up with this, just the way it lines up perfectly. So there's a very real possibility that we are looking at the Switch 2 tablet in this photo. The background is not real. The background, from everything I've been researching and seeing, is AI. The watch on the outside of the sweater also I don't know. Maybe this person is a monster, and that's fine. But to me, that who does that? Who puts their watch on the outside of their sweater? I don't know. And there's even people that have like zoomed in on the fingers, and it shows, like maybe there's some black nail polish. A lot of times hands get messed up when AI is involved. And so this person's obviously trying to cover their tracks. And I mean, what is all over this room? Like, what are we looking at here? There's just, we can start zooming in, but it looks like there's some vials over there that may have some liquid in them. And, there's cables running everywhere. It's just kind of a mess. But apparently this background is AI from everything that I've researched and seen. And then this right here is the dock. And the only thing I can think of is this was taken. How many of you guys do the 0.5 photos to your friends or family, and everything looks super, super distorted? That's what I'm getting from this right here. Like, I'm assuming it's like a 0.5 kind of zoomed in, because it looks very short, right? Compared to what we would assume it would be. And especially since everything's pointing to the Switch 2 being a bigger device than the Switch 1. So Nate said the dock looks like a sideways Game Boy. Yeah. And we're gonna go through the Reddit. Somebody else pointed that out as well, and I was laughing at it. So I thought it was super funny. Again, the hardware here. This is the uncropped photo of the first photo that we saw when we started. The background from everything I'm seeing is AI, and the hardware itself is legit. Now we're noticing that like the dock a little more rounded, right? So go to 10. Let's see. Says the measurements don't look correct in terms of what it will be. And also, I have not you're not buying the curve service. Okay. I would not put money on this. This is real. Okay. And that, I mean, totally fair points. Let me put it like this. To me, it seems like a real piece of hardware. Whether it is the dock or not, I guess that could be completely up for debate. all of the, I don't know if you guys can see my mouse, but all of the text and everything back here, this seems to be a legitimate piece of hardware with all of the markings and everything that need to be there. So, and again, I don't know if you guys are just tuning in, but I was saying it almost looks like the 0.5 photos, you know, where like where people are you know, people put the phone on your forehead and make you look all wall-eyed and stuff. Like that's kind of what I'm wondering about this, because yeah, the proportions are weird. They're definitely weird. So I'm sorry, I'm talking on the phone while I drive, and listen, hey, be safe. That's most important. Nate says this looks to be real though, per people that did research. Yeah, and that's what I've been seeing. I've been waiting to put out anything until I could spend enough time like researching. Again, watched, you know, a lot of Nintendo Prime stuff. Been on the subreddits myself and watching Sunbro, and just, you know, as they've been going through stuff. This everything does, again, the hardware itself real. Does that necessarily mean it's a real Switch dock? Who knows? But when we go back to photos, we do see the logo here, but we don't see the front. We don't see the front. The only thing we can kind of see is this line around the bottom here. And I do apologize if you guys are just listening to the audio, does seem to follow along. So again, it could be real, and hopefully we're gonna know much more very, very soon. So Nate says, when leaking in, you sure gotta be careful not getting caught showing serial numbers or reflections, the plug covers, doors. Doors on. Yeah, exactly. There, stuff could be somewhat traceable, so you've got to be very, very careful there. And so I'm back over on the we haven't left, but we're on the Nintendo Switch 2 subreddit, and this is it's a brand new. Okay, some of the stuff that's a little bit fishy for me is that conveniently this brand new a relatively brand new subreddit got a hold of these photos, and then like now they've got something like close to 40,000 members, you know. And so there are a few like conveniences there in my mind that like I just keep on in the back of my head, like, you know, like it just raises a few questions. Like, okay, this relatively small subreddit now all of a sudden has all of the traction because everybody wants to know what is up with this Switch 2, and this is where you got to be. So looking again, we see some comparisons with like the 3D printed Joy-Con and the system itself, and there are people that have gone in, and we might see some of them through this list. We're going to kind of go through the comments here. Like they've measured out everything very meticulously, and these do in fact line up. And so again, I think from everything I'm seeing, there's a very real possibility that we are looking at the Switch 2. Is this a retail model? Is it a dev kit? We don't know. The person has gone on to say that they have, what's their name? All Next Handheld, I believe, is the person's name that had these photos, and they had put out, I think it was maybe a tweet saying that they had turned the system on, but it didn't boot to any like menu. It basically just showed like a bunch of like startup files and things along those lines, but nothing, no concrete like here's how the operating system's going to look or anything like that. So kind of just going through some of the comments. And what's crazy, so Max Not Cool is apparently the owner of the subreddit, and one of the posts I saw on Christmas Day was, please stop sending Mac death threats. So people were going going a little bit too crazy with this. And you know, like personally, I can see the fun with it. You know, like it's just you know, it's like snooping for your gifts as a kid at Christmas and trying to find out what you're going to get. That's essentially all we're doing right now. And it just makes for conversation the way I see it. Like, I don't know why anybody would need to send death threats over these photos. And, you know, but I guess maybe people are just way more invested than I am. And I just want to kind of go. So this is an older post that these were older photos from Christmas, but he re-uploaded them a day ago. And, you know, we can just take a look here, like the tests that people are doing on like the doc. It says not likely to be AI generated. 1%. It's literally just one, like it's a 1% chance that it's fake. And so that's a pretty good indicator that it's real. Again, real what? Like, we'd have to see the front. We'll know soon enough. We will know soon enough. And we're going to get into it. There's kind of somebody put together kind of a cool post showing kind of like which camp people are in for when they think the release date is. So that's gonna kind of do it for just looking at these pictures that leaked. Nate says, I think, let's hear. I think it's true. Really, it's already in manufacturing lines and people trying to get famous. Hey, check this out. Yeah. That's always going to be a factor. There's no doubt there. Always going to be a factor. But like, what is it worth the risk? You know, like, and again, I guess that's why you're using AI backgrounds and things like that to try to keep yourself safe. But like, is it worth the risk of having the Nintendo ninjas come after you? So we're seeing just on the front page of the Switch 2 subreddit, just like some different mock-ups and stuff. And this one, I mean, I love the look of this. Honestly, I love that it shows like a now playing, and of course, I love that it says MKX, like Mario Kart, right? But it also shows the time. You know, the you can see a little bit more of the screen, and I do wonder if there's going to be something they do there, like, you know, something similar to like Alarmo or any of those, like just where it might showcase some kind of gameplay or something. We've seen other mock-ups as well, and they, you know, I'd be all for it. Just let Nintendo do its thing. Let them Nintendo-fy it as much as possible, I'd say. So this is what I was talking about here. This photo is going to be kind of hard for you guys to see on screen. I'll take it full screen and see if that helps here. And so you can see that, like, it's got all the different data kind of broken down, and it what's interesting is you got all these different everybody's in kind of different camps here, like when they think it's going to release. You've got people thinking it's going to come out in March, and then, you know, it kind of goes into why people might think that, you know. And so you got some posts on Reddit. It says, so did you get an indication when it will be released, like quarter or month? And this is from Next Handheld, who posted the photos, who had the photos, said March. Someone else said this contradicts the last leaks we got. How likely is the chance of a March release? A chance of March release is outdated information. How likely is it outdated information? Next Handheld says could be. All I've been told is there's a Nintendo meeting around the 10th or 11th of January, which is likely around announcement and mid-March launch. So let's just camp there for a little bit. What do you guys think? Which team do you, which camp are you in? Are you on Team March, Team May and June, or Team April? I know firsthand from some people that have been getting emails from accessory makers that they are saying it is a Q1 launch. So that would be anywhere from April to June, or the end of June. And so that's one of the possibilities here. You know, we see it being in April, also May and June. After we heard from and we'll kind of get into it, but looking at May and June, you've got from Gaming Leaks and Rumors, Nate the Hate speculates that Switch 2 will be announced in late January, early February. And he has heard industry chatter of a May or June release, and has also heard about Switch 2 blowout event in May. Now, that possible Switch 2 blowout event we've talked about a little bit on past shows and in other videos could potentially be PAX East. The moment when I was at PAX East last year and they said the date went from March to May, I immediately thought to myself, this is Nintendo. The other thing, Nintendo was at PAX East, but they were there in the such a small capacity. They had a very tiny booth, only promoting Pokemon games. No Nintendo games, only Pokemon. And I'm wondering if there was some behind closed doors meetings, looking at the space, getting the dominoes all lined up, if you will, for this upcoming PAX, because I don't think PAX is going to change their date without something this big, right? Unless, we could probably go in and look at the convention center dates for March and see if they got double booked for some reason and they weren't able to get it. But having Nintendo say, hey, we will be showcasing the next Switch at this event as our our main event to introduce this to the public and let people go hands-on with it. PAX wants as many people there. They want to pack the house, right? So that would definitely give them reason to say, yeah, we'll move it. We'll move it for you. So taking a look at the comments here, Nate says, it's really hard because with having backwards compatibility, it could literally launch a week after announcement. So there's no worry of cannibalism with sales. Yeah. And the other thing too is looking when it comes to right here, how many units are estimated to be available. So it says the shipment size is estimated to be 6.5 to 7 million consoles worldwide. So this is decoded from Base 64. It reads, the initial stock quantity has been finalized and the factory will plan production accordingly. I can't disclose the exact number, but for the US market alone, it is roughly 2.5 times the volume from March 2017. Some facts about this hypothetical launch shipment for people worried about finding Switch 2 at launch. Switch's initial shipment worldwide was 2.74 million consoles, March 3rd to March 31st. Roughly 2.5 times the volume worldwide would translate to an initial shipment in the range of 6.5 million to 7 million consoles for its launch period, 4 weeks. The biggest console launch of all time was PS5. Sony never shared the precise figure, but we know it was slightly more than the PS4's previous record of 2.1 million consoles shipped in 2 weeks. So if this is true, it could be a massive launch. This also helps keep the Switch 2 out of the hands of scalpers, or they'll get them, but they're just going to be sitting on them. They're not going to be able to do anything with them. And so that is also really exciting. And I believe there's a possibility that the reason it's taken it's taken as long as it has in order to get this system out is because of manufacturing, possibly. Because I would say everybody, like, listening to so many people talk about this, and I believe there are some rumors and stuff out there that this was supposed to launch before this holiday. I mean, even looking at the although we've been still getting games on the regular, they've not been. This year has not been Nintendo's strongest year for software, and they have to. You'd think they're probably holding back somewhat if some of these games are meant to move Switch 2. And once they knew this, they went all in on the marketing for Switch 1. I mean, I know firsthand a number of people that bought Switches this Christmas, and they're not going to have any regrets. They've got if you just got a Switch, you have so many games that you can play, like so many great games that you can play. And it's going to more than likely get the majority of them on Nintendo Switch Online. You know, they fire up that Switch in a couple months from now, they're going to see the news on the side that's going to be showing new games, and they're going to be like, well, how can I get this? It gives Nintendo more opportunity to market the Switch 2 and let people know about these games while they have hours and hours of entertainment. I mean, so many games to download from Nintendo Switch Online. You've got the DLCs for Mario Kart and Animal Crossing, and even like games like Animal Crossing. I've seen people in my chats coming through and being like, I got Animal Crossing for Christmas. I'm just now starting my island. Like, I love that. There's plenty of people out there that are experiencing the Switch for the first time or still building their library of games, because it's a pretty extensive library. Even if you just went all first party and Pokemon, that's a huge library over the last 7-8 years. So there's plenty to play there and plenty to look forward to. And it looks like, I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but when the PS4 and the Xbox Series X came out, like, they were not easy to find. I took a while before I got the Series X. And by the time I got the PS5 that I ended up returning, because I'm just like, I don't think I'm going to play it, you know, they were finally readily available, but it took forever. And the longer Nintendo has to wait to get Switch 2 into the consumer's hand, the less software they're selling, and software is where their money's at. So this is just a win all around. And yeah, it's been, you know, we've heard it on podcast after podcast and video after video, like, we're ready for Switch 2. You know, you see every comment you read, or, you know, all the tweets that people reply to Nintendo are like, are you going to release this thing yet? Like people are hungry for it. They're ready for it. And based on how powerful this console is looking to be, like, I've been playing a little bit of Call of Duty and playing my Xbox a little bit. Yo, I'm ready. I'm ready for a Nintendo system to look, you know, close to that. And I think it's a very real possibility that we're going to see these games. They aren't going to come out all muddy like they had to on the OG Switch. And that's a huge win. So taking a look just a little bit more at like some of the dates here. So obviously May and June comes from Nate the Hate and Samus Hunter. And then March from Next Handheld. And there's another leaker here. It says officially announced in January. This is from it. The user's name is Home. It's the Weibo text. I've been hearing this so often as I've been watching these other videos and other shows and stuff. Officially announced in January, released in March. The first month of shipments in various regions have been stuff's kind of cut off, so bear with me. Looks like 650,000, but that's not. I think that might be an error. Yeah, 6.5 mil. There we go. There's a translation error. The production scale of some parts has reached. They got some stuff cut off, so I can't read everything. And so, but again, that number is great. Is that we're going to see that many, and it's looking like in North America, like we read over on the other side there, 2.74 million. Taking a look here at some of the other stuff. This is from RGP site senior writer James Galizio on the old rumors about Switch 2 internal delay. I was literally told explicitly that it was always scheduled for 2025. So there we go. That could be, the other things that we've heard. And all of this, guys, is grain of salt, right? Like we just kind of form our own conclusions based on everything that we've been hearing. And I know that we are all so ready for the announcement of this next console, so we can stop speculating and stop diving into these rumors and start talking about the games that are going to be coming out. So just looking a little bit more here. So specifically March 2025, you said. So if it doesn't come out by then, it was still delayed. It says, yeah, I can believe it got pushed a quarter. Their info was a few years old. Enough to say 2025 was always the plan, not enough to say what the date is now. So there is a chance that maybe it was initially for March, but that could have been delayed. Team April says reports developers not told to expect Switch 2 to launch until April 2025 or later. I don't see the source on this one, but it says developers have been told not to expect the Nintendo Switch 2 to launch until Nintendo's next fiscal year, which starts in April 2025. This is according to head of game industry Christopher Dring in the last episode of the Game Industry Biz Microcast. No developer I've spoken to expects it to be launching this fiscal year, said Dring via Video Games Chronicle. In fact, they've been told not to expect it in the current financial year. A bunch of people I spoke to hope it's out in April or May time, still early next year, not late. So there you go. There's so much so many different dates being thrown around that it's kind of hard to, you've almost just got to decide which one do you want to believe, and then go with that. I'm all about let's have this March release. Let's have it. I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. I want to start playing what I believe is going to be the next Mario Kart game. And that's one of the other major rumors, is that the next there's going to be 3 SKUs. One of them will be a Mario Kart 9 Switch, and I've seen some more reports and from videos and whatnot stating that there is another console with the gray one and the white one, and 9 is in the title of that. That kind of pushes or kind of points to Mario Kart 9. Hopefully that is the case. So a lot of exciting stuff happening. Christmas was crazy. I don't know if you guys spend a lot of time on Reddit, but it was pretty wild. I was trying to stay present and in the moment, and not just staring at my phone the entire time. But so much cool stuff in the Switch, in the Nintendo news cycle right now. And here's this photo that shows the Switch with the Game Boy, and looking like it was inspired by the Game Boy. And that's, it's accurate. It is accurate for sure. But I think that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for being here live. I do want to get the live show going again, where I get a lot of participation from the chat. And I will be picking a date and time for that we will do it on the regular, starting in the first of the year. I appreciate you all so very much. Hope you had an amazing holiday. Have a happy new year, and we will see you all in the next one. Bye now.